Good evening, whatever. How you doing? Good evening, folks. Sorry, I'm having a chuckle. As I started the live event tonight, there was not people joining immediately, and TikTok says to me, hang in there. We are notifying people. Any guys, good evening. Welcome to Thursday night Q&A. We've got an hour in which you can ask questions on financial matters, and I will try and answer it. Please don't make it too difficult tonight. I'm tired, okay? Any guys, I'm looking forward to what you have to ask. Good evening, my Gigi and Larry Governor. Good evening. And Bosch. That's Bosch. Interesting names that people have. I always wonder what these people are like when I get these interesting names. Juicy J, good evening. Patricia, interesting spelling of your name, Patricia, never seen that one. Sibongele, good evening. My Gigi, good evening. Ladies and gents, please post your questions. Let's see if I can answer it. Same as every Thursday night, you ask the questions, I try and give you some answers. And if there's no questions, then I tune off early and I go to bed. I go and have some supper early. Malusi, good evening. Cindy, how's it going? Amfile, my Gigi again. Thank you very much. Thank you for liking it. I appreciate it. Dory, good evening. Michelle, how's it? Ntukoza, good evening. Seems like this is going to be a short evening. Lots of people joining, lots of people coming and going, but no questions being asked. So yeah, I might just be out of here very early tonight. Cole, good evening. Ntukoza, how's it? Zach Pretorius, goeienaand. Bra Mavish. Superman joined. Hey, we're in good company when Superman joins you, that's for sure. DDP 672. Obviously not the real DDP, that's for sure. Good evening, O'Keeps. Yes. All ears. Let me see what you want to ask. Good evening. Hamilton, how's it? Good evening. Malusi, welcome Malusi. Odex, welcome to you. Brabi. Good evening. Let's see. Dress to Kill. Take that, China. Dress to Kill has joined us tonight. CJ has just joined, and Trisha, and Maureen. And I'm still waiting for the first question. My Gigi, you have liked this event so many times now. Put a question there, my man, please. Mom TT. Interesting names, once again. It always fascinates me with the amount of people that joins and the names that they choose as their profile names, etc., etc. It fascinates me. Stote M. Sandra Cordier. Good evening to Sandra Cordier. Farzana. Abby. I'm sure somebody is busy typing a message because there will not be so many people here coming in and going out and then remaining if nobody has put a question down. So I'm waiting, and when I get the first one, I'm sure the rest will come. But we've got 55 minutes left, and then I'm out of here unless I get no questions. Ty of Maad, hi to you as well. Refilwe. Marta Makuna, good evening. Jeanette, Taib Maad, please go ahead and put your question down. You are more than welcome to do so. I am waiting for you to put your question down, then I'll try and answer it, okay? Okay, if you had a superpower, if you had a superpower, what would it be? My love, what would be your superpower if you had one?
To be not visible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, me and my wife feel exactly the same. If we can be invisible, that's the superpower we'll choose. Thank you very much. I haven't had such an out of the ballpark question any night, so that's lekker. MK says, I am 60 years old with 42 years of government. Should I resign or retire? MK, you always retire, mate. Always, always, always retire. You never resign. Retire because you get your 1/3 in cash, you pay very little taxes on it, and then you get your monthly income. There is absolutely no other way. You have to retire, my mate. If you take the taxes that you're going to pay between retirement and resignation, you are just going to kill yourself. So please, MK, retire, retire, retire. Don't resign. Whatever says, my pension value is currently 3.5. I am due to retire in 8 years. How much would it be? Whatever, that is a very difficult question to answer, because I understand that you've got 3.5 million years rand now, and I can go and do a projection for you and say, listen here, if this grows at 9%, then you're going to have, let's call it 5.5 million. The problem is, I don't know what your contributions are, and your contributions will obviously influence the amount of money it would be. So what I can tell you is, based on how much you've got and currently have, I do think that you're going to have a fair sum in retirement. But I honestly can't give you a straightforward how much it would be. I can always give you a expectation, but I can also only give you that expectation once I know what your actual contributions are. So that's the long and the short of it. Cannot give you a straightforward answer, but if you could send me your payslip so that I can see what your contributions are, or your fund values, which should be on your statement and which should also have your contributions, I can always go and do a little bit of a projection for you, do a calculation, and I can send you an expectation. But that's the best I can do. On a platform like this, asking a question like this, there's just too much information I don't have that could influence the outcome. Okay, whatever, hope that answers for you. My Gigi says, no retire with benefits. Correct? Correct. Okay, O'Keefe says, I work for an SOE. I reckon the benefits won't be the same as GPF medical aid. Yeah, it's most probably not going to be the same, because on GPF, we work on a formula as it is a defined benefit statement. While with an SOE, it is normally a defined contribution statement. And the difference is, on a defined benefit statement, they work on a formula that they calculate what your 1/3 and your monthly income is going to be. On a defined contribution fund, it is the amount of money you put in and the growth you get on it. So yes, it's definitely not going to be the same. There might not be major discrepancies between the two, but there's definitely going to be differences, because it's always going to depend on somebody like yourself, by whether you are in an aggressive, medium risk, conservative portfolio, and how good those portfolios are performing. Type Maad, mine would be nice and healing people. Type Maad, I think that is an awesome superpower to have if you have it. And I think most people have the nice part. Sometimes they just don't live it out. MK says, thank you, pleasure. Lucy says, Melusi says, how much should I invest if I want to get 10K per year, and where? Melusi, once again, it's one of those impossible answers to give on a question like this. Because if you want 10K per year and you want to start investing, you can be invested in about 20 different types of investments. The other thing that has a major influence in it is how long do you have to invest. The person that wants 10K per year and only has 1 year to invest, they have to literally put away, let me think here, 200,000 Rand per month. If they're lucky, 300,000 Rand a month to get to 10K, because they've only got 1 year to invest. But the person that's got 40 years to invest, they can put away 300 Rand a month and they're most probably going to get to that. Then it depends on the portfolio that you're going to be invested in. Is it a conservative portfolio, a very aggressive portfolio, medium risk? How much is the growth going to be? So it's impossible to give an answer on a question like this unless I have more information. And that's what I keep on telling people. It's always easy to say, what's the best stock to invest in? Where will I get the most growth? It's a one-line question with a 20 different questions coming back to you in order to make the determination and to work it out for you. I know people don't want to hear that because we want a quick, fast, easy answer because everything in life is instant gratification, but we can't do it like that. So Malusi, you need to speak to somebody. You need to give somebody a lot more information to give you that answer. Okay. Mercy, hi to you. Okay. Okay, folks, let's see who's next here. A bunch of gifter badges, which I still don't know what the heck it is. Portia says, do you check bank statements, etc., to do an analysis for new clients? Portia, no. Normally, I don't look at the client's bank statement. What goes on in your private life, I'm not really that pedantic about the small details. But yes, I have in the past asked clients for their bank statements. When people come to me when they're in deep debt, I normally want to see their bank statements. When people come to me and they say they cannot invest, they don't have enough money, I say, show me your bank statement. And the only reason I then want to see the bank statements, not because I don't believe in what you're telling me. It's because that when we look at your bank statement, we're going to find a lot of expenses and stuff running through your bank statement, which is either not necessary or which is just luxury and you don't want to admit it to yourself. A number of years ago, I had a client that said he cannot invest for retirement. He just doesn't have a cent to spend. But he was so far behind with retirement, he needed to save literally thousands per month. So I asked him for his bank statement. When we went through his bank statement, we came to the realization that he and his wife went out to supper twice a week. They went out to breakfast 3 times a week. And I said to him, really? Do you need to go out that often? Can't you just make some bacon and eggs at home? And once we started taking that into consideration, he literally had the thousands per month he could save by only going out to supper once every 2 weeks and going to breakfast once a week. Suddenly there was a lot of money that was available. And it was not just the eating out, there was other stuff as well, but basically there was lots of money available. It was just a question of he was living such a comfortable, luxurious life, he didn't even realize it. And it had to be pointed out to him. So in terms of bank statements, no, I don't necessarily need the bank statements, but if I feel that your situation is so crucial that I need to have a look at it, then I will ask for it. Let's see who is next year. T-Man says, is it wise to open a tax-free saving in a child minor's name? I have my own thought. T-Man, yeah, I have no problem with regards to opening that in a child's name. And the bottom line is, remember, when you open any investment in a child's name, up to the age of 18, you are in control of that investment. The important thing with regards to opening such an investment in a child or minor's name is that you, the responsible person, must be teaching this child about financial responsibility. And in doing that, you can help this child understand that when they get to the age of 18 and they are now legally in the position that they can actually act on that investment themselves, that they should not be acting on it. If you've taught a child that and you can get that child to leave that investment for the next 10, 20, 30 years, that child is going to have the most fantastic financial future. But if you give a child a tax-free plan and you haven't taught them anything about finances, they haven't learned how to manage their own finances, then it might be a problem, because when that child gets to the age of 18, and let's say you've put in your 500,000 rand over the 15 years and it's worth 1 million rand, that child might just go bonkers, withdraw the money, go and spend it on all kinds of nonsense in life. So yes, I think it's wise, but it goes together with a full-on responsibility on you as the parent or the guardian to give that child guidance and education. That's my opinion. Okay, let's see what's next here on our line of questions. Oops. Okay, here's the jumping forward and backward exercise again. So just hang tight. We will get to the next question very soon. Ah, there we go. That was the child question. Let's see what next we have here. Okay. Thank you. That's not a question, that's a statement, which means absolutely nothing. Whatever says, if I have 30,000 rand left over each month, woo! What Sharia investments you suggest? I have 8 years to retire. In terms of Sharia investments, there are plenty of good Sharia investments out there. And I cannot give you a specific portfolio that I believe is going to be the best, because all of the insurers, Old Mutual, Sanlam, Liberty, 99, Allen Gray, they all have Sharia portfolios, okay? So there's a variety of that. But based on the fact that you've got 30,000 Rand left at the end of every month, that tells me that you've got a substantial income. And because you've got a substantial income, you are in a pretty high tax bracket. And because of that, I would say that the best investment would be to invest your money into an endowment, and then choose in this endowment a portfolio, a Sharia portfolio that is ideal for you. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because on the investment, you want to get the best possible tax benefit. There's nothing wrong with getting the best possible tax benefit. It's just where the money is invested in terms to get growth that is of importance when it comes to Sharia investments. So that would be my thing, is go and have a look at, well, or not go and have a look, ask somebody about different endowments with the different companies, but specifically about the underlying Sharia portfolios in order to determine which company and which portfolio is going to be best for you. And that is the way that I will look at it and choose it. And once again, just because of the income that I believe that you must be earning, endowment would be better than unit trust and bank savings account. Okay, let's see who's next on our list here. Endrin Governor. My last contribution, my RA, is next year, July. What is my options in July? Okay, so Endrin, I'm not 100% sure how old you are. But in terms of options that you have next year, July, you can keep the retirement annuity and you can keep it without or with paying premiums. There's nothing that says because that's when your last premium is due that you have to take the money, okay? So you've got the option to let your retirement annuity carry on, and therefore you can obviously create more growth and more capital, etc. If you are in a situation where you say, no, I don't want to carry on with this investment, I don't want it to grow anymore, I actually want to take an income from it, then your options become you can take 1/3 in cash and 2/3 as a monthly income. The 1/3 that you can choose to take in cash, you can take all of it or you can just take a portion of it. There's a tax-free portion of 550,000 Rand, then a portion taxable at 18%, then 26%, and so on. So you can go and choose a lump sum portion you can take on a sliding scale of taxes, and you can choose how big that's going to be. You can choose not to take any of the 1/3. On the 2/3 that is left, you have to buy yourself an income. And like I say, you don't have to take any of the 1/3. So whatever you don't take of the 1/3 gets added to the 2/3 in order to buy that monthly income. And now when it comes to the monthly income, you can choose to take a living annuity. And a living annuity is an investment where you choose an income of between 2.5% and 17.5% on that capital, and you invest it in a portfolio where you try and get a better growth than what the actual income is that you draw. Or you can choose to take a guaranteed life annuity where they give you a guaranteed income, guaranteed periods, guaranteed increases, everything is guaranteed. Okay? And then there's a third option where you can choose an income as well as a capital preservation, which means in the event of your death, they pay out the capital again to a beneficiary. So those are the three basic options that you have. So basically, you've got a lot of options in terms of what you take in cash and what you take as an income. But over and above that, when it comes to the income, there is a lot. I mean, literally hundreds and thousands of different varieties of how you can take your living annuity and life annuity. So it's very flexible. And I think that's the important thing for you to know is it's very flexible. You can just about take anything any way you want. All it needs is planning based on your situation. I hope it answers it, mate. Kev Planner. Good evening, Kev Planner. I don't know if I've seen you, but I can't invite you if I know whether you talk sense or not. So there we go. There was the one that they asked me to invite, Kev Planner, which I wasn't sure about. Okay. Okipis. In 2011, I resigned from my old job to the new one. Will the cash I got from Parma... Wait. Let me just read this again. In 2011, I resigned from my old job to the new one, okay? Will the cash I got form part of my file? No, it won't. So Okips, if you resign, then it actually meant that you withdrew your pension or provident fund. And because you withdrew your pension or provident fund, you would have been taxed on withdrawal tables. So no, it will not make up part of the 550,000 tax-free, because anything that you have invested from that point on into pension funds or retirement annuities, whatever that's been invested is now separate from the portion that you actually withdrew in 2011. And therefore, when you now get to retirement, they give you that retirement options where you can take your 1/3, 2/3. You're not affected by what happened in 2011, and you can get your 550,000 tax-free. So there we go, sir, ma'am. Sorry, or keeps is a bit difficult to determine whether it's a ma'am or a sir. Saad van die wilde hond. Wow. Hey Corey, wat sal 'n goeie beleg gewees om elke maand byvoorbeeld R1000 te belê en dit te laat groei? Saad van die wilde hond. As jy omgee nie, gaan ek hierdie in Engels antwoord, want meeste van die mense is Engels en dit is ons nou maar die taal in Suid-Afrika. So the question is, what would be a good investment to invest 1,000 Rand per month on and have fantastic growth on it? So this comes back to the age-old thing about what is your personal circumstances. For somebody that does not have pension and they want to get not only a good pension built up, but they also want to get the tax benefits that goes with it, a retirement annuity will be absolutely ideal. For somebody that says, listen here, no, I don't want to save until retirement. I want this money to be available in future to do something with. There one has to go and look at the tax bracket they fall in. And if you are in a low tax bracket, then a unit trust will most probably be the best. because from a capital gains tax implication, you will pay less tax on a unit trust if you are in a tax bracket that's under a 30% tax bracket. If you are above that, then an endowment will most probably be the best, because instead of being taxed capital gains tax in your personal capacity on 31% or more, you will now be taxed in the portfolio of an endowment at 30%. So it very much depends on what you want out of the investment, what your intention is, what your goal is, how old you are, where you need to go, what you want the money for. There's really a number of questions that needs to be asked. So I cannot give you a straightforward answer, exactly like I said to somebody earlier. It's always easy when it comes to financial advice giving for people to ask, where will I get the best investment? Where will I get the highest growth? What is the best investment for me? But it is almost impossible to give anybody a straightforward answer unless one has a bit more information on that individual, what their needs and goals are, what their personal situation is. So I'm sorry I can't give you a straightforward answer. What I do recommend is that you do speak to somebody that is a financial advisor that can give you some guidance. At the end of the day, folks, whether you like it or not, if you are going to take up any of these investments that I always talk about, you're going to have to do it via a financial advisor. You can't do it directly. No. Let me not lie. You can do it directly. But what companies don't tell you and what people don't realize is that with most companies that you do it directly through, you pay the same fees as what you will be paying a financial advisor. Because the company that says you can do it direct with them, they have to spend so much money on marketing that their cost is double that of the company that makes use of financial advisors. The company making use of financial advisors asks you 2% and they give the financial advisor 1.5%, so 3.5%. Company that does sell it directly to you, their cost is 3.5% because the 1.5% they would be paying to the financial advisor they put into marketing. It's easy as that. So, start van die wilde hond, speak to somebody, get a proper analysis done, which is with gold, and then do your investment. Oh, whatever, it's a pleasure. Let's see who's next. Martin Pretoria says, I'm 40 years of age with a pension fund at Sentinel. Oh, Martin, so you are in the mining industry. Sentinel, that's about 3 million at the moment. I noticed that I can, and Martin, I'm sure I'm going to pick it up just now. Shibbit. Just a second. Just need to scroll back. There we go. So 3 million. Notice that Pleasure Ephraim. I'm just looking for the second portion of Martin's question here. Oh, Keeps, thank you for telling me you're a lady. Martin, I'm sure you must have a second portion. Thank you. There we go. Nou, Koos. Oom, ek werk al 14 jaar vir een maatskappy. As ek nou loop, hoeveel tax gaan hulle vir my vat? Ek's nou 34. Koos, as jy loop, dan sê hulle vir jou R27,500 van jou pensioenfonds is tax-free. Die res word getax teen 18% en is op 'n sliding scale. So dit word meer hoe meer geld jy het. So Koos, moenie loop nie. As jy loop, moenie jou geld vat nie. Sit dit in 'n bewaringsfonds. Okay, asseblief. Saad van die wilde hond, only a pleasure. I'm still looking for the other portion of that question now. Sorry folks, I'm looking for the second half of that question and it doesn't seem like I'm going to find a second half to the question. This is disappointing. No, I'm sorry. Gee, where is it? Folks, yeah, and there's a lot of people jumping in and out or whatever, but I don't see any more questions. Seems like I'm really going to have any. So, Martin, your question goes, I'm 40 years of age with a pension fund at Sentinel. That's about 3 million at the moment. I noticed that C, and then it stops. And I've now looked through every comment that follows, and there's nothing else. So, I would love for you to put the second part of that question or statement, whatever, in to answer it, because I actually know quite a bit about the Sentinel Fund, because I have a lot of family that is part of the Sentinel Fund, and if I did not leave my little hometown when I was 19 years old, I would have been part of the Sentinel Fund as well. Unfortunately, maybe I should say fortunately, I did not like the mining industry. I did not hack it, and I left. Let me see, okay. Nimble says, hi Corey, if the company retrenches, closes, can I withdraw my pension fund monies? So Nimble, yes, when a company retrenches, it's actually something that we have dealt with quite a lot over the last month. I don't know why, but it's happened quite a lot that we dealt with it over the last month. So if you are retrenched and it is a forced retrenchment, okay, you can actually apply for a tax directive whereby you are then taxed the same way you would be taxed if you retire. So that means 550,000 tax-free, 200,000, 18%, etc., etc. So you get a much more beneficial tax rate if you are retrenched, and the law basically says you did not choose to leave your company, you are being forced out, and therefore we cannot penalize you for that situation. So we would rather help you. Now, if you leave because of a forced retrenchment, you get taxed in the retirement tax tables, then when you get to the age of 55 with the new company, new pension fund, then you do not qualify for those tax-free portions again. You can only claim it once and then it's over and done with. If it's voluntary retrenchment, same thing. You can actually apply for a tax directive, and now you will only get 500,000 tax-free. So now it goes on to the withdrawal tax tables. So there is a small difference between being retrenched voluntarily or being retrenched forcefully, compulsory. But in both situations, you can withdraw your funds and you can get a large portion tax-free. Obviously, it's always beneficial not to withdraw the money, to move it to a preservation fund rather, or if you withdraw, just to withdraw 550,000 as a max, so you get that tax-free portion. But it depends from person to person as to what they can do and what they need. But yes, the short answer actually is you can withdraw all your pension funds, and yes, you are then in a more beneficial tax position. Just remember one thing. So many people get retrenched, they take all their money and then they don't invest it, or they don't do the basics and then invest the rest, and then they get the surprise of their lives because they pay off their houses, they pay off their cars, they pay off the debts, they do whatever needs to be done, and then they start with new company, new pension fund, and when they get to retirement, they have a very small pension and they can't understand, but why? I paid off my house and my car, but they never brought their own life standard down. So just be careful, be safe, make sure that you just plan this, talk through it to somebody, okay? Okay, Martha says, I'm 40 years old with pension fund center. That's, yeah, Martha, that's the one I saw. No, I noticed to see. Oh, no, man. Martin, not again. 40 years old with pension fund at Sentinel. That's about 3 million at the moment. I noticed that. See, and then we stuck again. Come on, Martin. Rix, good evening. I jump in and out. Instable. Oh, sorry to hear that, Rix. Nice to see you again. I know you've been on here a few times. Welcome. And Nimble, I've just answered your question. I see you've posted it twice now, so there must have been some other problem there. Rick says, where is the best investment with a quick growth and tax-free? So, Rix, here's the question. What is a quick growth? What is a quick growth? Is a quick growth 10%? Is a quick growth 30%? Is a quick growth 100%? It's a matter of perspective, to be honest with you. It's a matter of perspective. The best performing portfolios at the moment gives 14 to 16% return on investment. Now, if you do a tax-free investment today, remember you can only put in 36,000 Rand per annum. So if you put in 36,000 now, I don't have my calculator with me, but so be it. If you put in 36,000 and let's say you get a 14% return on that over a 1 year period, what are you getting? You're basically getting 1/8 plus 3, 6, 5,400 Rand on 36,000 Rand. So is that a good return? Is that a good growth? Because that will be on a portfolio that gives 14-15% return tax-free. For me, that's not really a fantastic growth. 5,400 Rand on 36,000 Rand, not fantastic. Yes, if I can get that type of return over a 10 or 15 year period, completely different situation. But that's the thing. We always think short term. What can I get now? How big can I get? Whatever. The secret, folks, with investments, with wealth building is and will always be time. The longer you can invest, the more growth on growth you can earn. That seventh wonder of the world. That is the magic. That is the secret to investment. So, Rix, I don't know if I've answered your question, but the bottom line is there is no best investment with quick growth. Not a quick one in any case. Not one that makes me excited. Let's put it that way. Not one that makes me excited. Zach 200 says, does the same apply to an RA? Zach, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to because I've answered a number of questions. So yeah, I'm kind of lost when you ask a question like that because I'm not sure what you're referring to. But if it refers to what Rick's just asked, yes, then it applies to an RA in terms of building growth over time. When you are talking about the retrenchment question, let's just specify that because this might just create a bit of confusion. No, on a retirement annuity, there is no retrenchment. You can take the money early because retirement annuities is in your individual capacity. It's only pension and provident funds that's in company capacity. So if the company forces you out, you can take the money because of retrenchment. You can't take the money out of a retirement annuity and say, I've retrenched myself. Okay, so that doesn't work. Just so that you know. And if it comes back to the question you had earlier about what your options are at the age of 55 or retirement, then yes, all those options I gave, it applies to them all. I think, Zach, I have now covered all the potential answers I could have given you. Let's see who's next. There we go. Zach says, can I withdraw 550,000 tax-free at 57? Yes, Zach, you can. Anytime from the age of 55. If you go into retirement, irrespective of whether it's a pension fund, provident fund, or retirement annuity, if you choose to withdraw 1/3 or a portion of 1/3, the first 550,000 Rand is tax-free. So yes, irrespective of what type of pension product it is, 550,000 Rand, the first 550, always tax-free. Got you, Zach. Let's see who's next year. Van the man. Can you tell us more about endowments to aid in estate planning for people married in community of property? So Van, I'm going to tell you a secret now with regards to people married in community of property and out of community of property. Excuse me. The wonderful thing about endowments, living annuities, life cover, all those things. If you beneficiate a spouse okay, or any other person for that matter, the money pays out directly to that person. It doesn't go through the estate. So the beneficiaries don't have to wait for the estate to be wound up. That's the first thing. Then, in terms of any inheritance that goes to the spouse, when there's two spouses married in or out of community property, if one of the spouses pass away, there is no estate duty tax because it's a 4Q exemption, as they call it, which means there is no estate duty payable between spouses. The only time that there's estate duty payable is when husband and wife both have passed away and now the children inherit or something to that effect. So, strictly speaking, for people who are concerned about estate costs, don't worry about it. That's my personal opinion. Number one, between husband and wife, the only cost that's going to be payable is going to be the master's fee and the executor's fee, which is standard. But there's no estate duty payable. And when it comes to estate duty being paid, when mum and dad has passed away and the children are now inheriting, my honest opinion is that's a gift to the children. Let's say they're going to inherit 1 million rand and there is 20,000 rand, 200,000 rand tax or estate duty payable. They're still getting 800,000 rand, but that's an absolute gift. It's not coming out of their pocket, it's coming off the 1 million rand. So, in terms of that, from a cost perspective, I think that people get too hung up about the cost. Now, from an estate planning point of view, all these things we're talking about, the endowments, the life cover, the life annuity, the living annuity, from an estate planning point of view, that's where you just want to have a beneficiary nominated on all these investments in order for it to bypass the estate. So it bypasses the estate in the sense that it doesn't pay out to the estate and then the executor pays it out to you. It pays directly to the beneficiary. It doesn't bypass the cost implication of the estate, but it bypasses the extended period that you're going to have to wait for it. So, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but from an estate planning point of view, just make sure that you've got beneficiaries. From a cost point of view, don't worry too much because between spouses, there is no cost. And when it comes to the kids, whatever they get is a gift and they're not paying the cost. The estate is paying the cost. Okay? Unless, of course, there is no cash in the estate. Then it becomes a different matter because then you have to sell assets. If it's a question of you say, listen, yeah, I don't care about paying any estate taxes, estate duties. I want all my assets to be protected for the next few generations. I don't want to see even 5 cents going towards estate duty and so on. Well, then you have to start looking at a trust. And then you have to start putting your things in a trust. And that's a different ball game again because there's different rules on trust when it comes to taxes and. But yeah, that's in a nutshell, I think, what you're asking and what I can answer for you. Pleasure, Zach. You say thank you. Cool. Whoops. And there we go again. Interesting names. Once again, interesting names that I see when I scroll through here. No, man. Oh, okay. How's it, Rowen? Good evening, Mr. Rowen. How are you doing?
I'm well, and how's it going on your side?
I'm doing fantastic. And guess what? Rowen, ladies and gentlemen, is a specialist when it comes to GPF. Trust me, I know a lot about GPF, but Rowen knows a lot more. And Rowen, as you come in tonight with 14 minutes left, there's a question just for you. Mathunzi says, can teachers take early retirement at the age of 50? What is your answer? Can they or can they not?
Matunzi, you won't be able to retire at the age of 50. Early retirement starts at the age of 55. But what the members need to remember is there's a penalty for each month that you retire earlier than the age of 60. So if you do decide to retire at the age of 55, the penalty is going to be 20% on your lump sum and 20% on your income.
And now that Rowan has told that to you, the other thing that you must remember is these days there's this offer on the table for people on the GPF to actually take early retirement without penalizing or without penalties. Now, the first thing is you have to apply for that, what do we call it, ex gratia payment, not to be penalized. That's the first thing. But the second thing that people have to remember with regards to that specifically is if you now apply for that ex gratia payment, they pay you difference as to what you would be losing out on your 1/3 and your income for the time from the age of 55 to 60. So they give you that so you don't lose anything on that. But they do not pay you the difference in what you would have been earning from the age of 60 onward. So at the end of the day, you still lose out. That's the unfortunate thing. So as much as the special offer is on the table and as much as the special offer cancels out the loss in income and 1/3 from the age of 55 to 60, it does not cancel out the loss of income from the age of 60 onwards. And therefore, I think, Rowan, you will agree with me, it still does not make sense then for anybody to go into early retirement, especially if they think, okay, well, they're paying me the ex gratia, so it's okay. You're going to be okay for 5 years, strictly speaking, but after that, you might not be okay.
Exactly. It's only a lump sum payment. And what people don't realize, you're going to still feel the penalty. It's not actually no penalties. You're still going to feel the penalties in your pocket after the age of 60.
Yeah.
And the income comes from treasury. The money comes from treasury, and that's why you need to apply. So the department will pay you a lump sum, and for the age until 60, and after that, the penalties will still be in your pocket.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rowan, it's like you're like a godsend to come in right when that question came in. Okay, so let's see who's next on the line here. Van says cost to register property in other person's name. Van, we can't really tell you that because we are not lawyers and we do not do transfers. What I can tell you is the cost to register a property in another person's name is going to be exactly the same as what it would be to register in your name. There's no difference with regards to that. But that transfer fees and whatever you're talking about there, you're going to have to speak to one times lawyer or transfer specialist, mate. User very long number says, Corey, after how many years will 550,000 tax-free be increased? Yo, that's a good question. You know,
Debbie, sorry, I was just figuring out how to mute my co-host, Corney.
Oh, why do you want to mute
wondered
yourself?
you can
No
hear me,
worries.
though.
You're welcome to talk to us. So, in terms of the 550,000 tax-free, when will it be increased? Now, this is the thing. When I joined the insurance industry way back in, I think it was somewhere 1992, 94, somewhere like that. The 550,000 Rand was not in existence. At that stage, the tax-free portion that you could get was calculated once again on a formula. And it had to do with the number of years that you had your RA and stuff like this. Then they changed the legislation and they came out and they actually started off with 500,000 Rand being tax-free. The 550,000, the increase to 550,000 Rand happened a few years ago. And since then, it's been on a standstill. Between the time that they said 500,000 Rand tax-free to the point where it went to 550,000 Rand tax-free, I think it was 3 or 4 years. It was very quick like that. But the 550,000 Rand has now been stagnant for a number of years. So what I can tell you, user, is I'm sure it will be increased sometime in the future. What I can't tell you is when. Because this is part of tax calculations, whatever the case might be. And it very much has to do with what Treasury's needs are, etc., etc. So I'm sure it will be increased, but I cannot tell you when it will be increased. So
For me,
go for it, Rowan. I'm listening to you.
no, I just want to ask. I want to answer the members here on my side. The
Oh, do
group.
you have members on your side as well?
Well, yeah, I'm also live. So what I realized, you can put me on mute. You can see there's a speaker next to on my.
Yes.
If you put me on mute, if you click on the speaker, you won't be able to hear me when I speak to my.
And then you can answer your people and I can answer my people. Can you believe it? Okay, I'll put you on mute.
So Debbie, can you hear
Oh,
me?
hang on a second. I can't mute you.
I hope Debbie's still here. Debbie.
There we go. Okay, Rowan has been muted. This is fun and games. Can teachers take early retirement 50? No, I don't think you can. Earliest we can take early retirement is 55. Remember that? Doesn't matter which pension fund you are with. 55 is early retirement. Llewellyn says, hi sir. Hi Llewellyn. Thank you Rowan for answering the same question I just answered. 55 years. My living governed 14 service. Okay, I'm not with what you want there. Sorry, folks. I saw a question here that I specifically want to answer, but I got a bit confused, I think, now with Rowan being on the other side. It's not often that we have this. Cost to register, okay. Okay, so. Sazet says, I'm so tired, I don't want to work until the age of 60. Sazet, I understand what you're saying, and I hear it very often. I hear people say that the working conditions is not great, and there's always reasons. The fact of the matter is, if you retire, okay, you are also going to get tired of being retired. It's just as easy as that. If you as an individual don't understand that you have to keep yourself active mentally and physically, if you don't understand that you have to start enjoying your life, where you are and how you are, if you don't get those concepts, it doesn't matter whether you are working or not working, you're always going to be tired. The only people in life that are not tired are the people that have accepted and are happy with their life and their circumstances. So I understand if you say you're tired. My dad said he's tired at the age of 55 and he retired. He's now 74. You know what he's done in the last 20 years? Absolutely nothing. So, and he's more tired than ever. So I'm sorry, I don't quite buy it. If you had a sickness, if you had an ailment, if you are disabled, then maybe I can buy it. But even when I look at social media and stuff, there's lots of people with disabilities, serious disabilities, that are leading full and active lives. So I'm not criticizing you. I'm saying go and think about your life seriously before you say you're tired. Msunzi said, Rowan, Mr. Member told me that school-based education. Well, maybe you can, Msunzi, but the way we understand it, you can't. But we can always go and investigate it for you. Aneta Jaffa says, I'm 57. Will I still be penalized if I retire now? Yes, you will. Like we said, anybody retiring before the age of 60 will be penalized. And you are penalized 5% per year. And that's where we get to or 4% per year on your income, and that's where we get to the 20% over a 5-year period. Let's see. Oh, there's a lot. DB says, my ex-husband passed on and my children under 20, are they still beneficiaries? Yes, DB, your children are still beneficiaries and they will still get an income if you make sure that you go through the claims process. So Zad says, I stopped contributing to my RA after 10 years. Can I cash it in at the age of 55? It's going to depend on how much it's worth, okay? So if you get to the age of 55, then you can exercise your 1/3, 2/3 option. And if the total amount of money that you have is less than, I think it's 247,000 Rand, then yes, you can cash it in. If it's more than that, you have to take 1/3 as the cash amount and 2/3 as monthly income. Bay Rebbe says, I'm working till 60, doesn't sound fun to me. I would like 55. I don't care what you like. You know what? I look at what people say they want to retire at 55 or 60, and I think, why? You can be so active. You can have so much life. I can retire next year because then I'll be 55. You know when I'm planning on retiring? Absolutely never. If the good Lord saves me and keeps me healthy, I want to keep on working until the day that I die, because then I know I'm going to keep myself active. And the more active I am, the more I enjoy life. So you know what, baby? Go at the age of 55 if you want. I'm just telling you, you're making a mistake like I'm telling to most people. People waste their life by going into retirement because they do nothing. They sit at home and they moan and bitch about the fact that they've got nothing to do, actually. Oh, and how shit the world is. Sorry, I'm going off on a rant here. I think this is the last one for tonight. Portia, at least find a hobby or small business after retirement. Portia, I agree with you 100%. Problem is that people should find that hobby or small business before they go into retirement, so that they can work themselves and they can transition from the one to the other. If they do not transition, they end up not doing it. It's just as easy as that, because people are procrastinators. Bay Rebbe says yes, you need to find hobbies. Absolutely, I agree with you. Annette says, workplace so toxic. A workplace is as toxic as you make it or accept it. If you decide that you are going to live in happiness and joy, nothing is toxic. At 57, how much am I allowed to withdraw from RA? 1/3 in cash. Okay. I think there's time for one or two more questions, and then I have to be out of here. Let me see here. If you are divorced and the spouse doesn't take her share, what will happen when you retire? Then at retirement, they will split it up, and they will take a look at what it was when you divorced, and I will say this amount that when you were divorced was so much, it grew to so much. The rest, the total fund is X amount, so your spouse gets this and you get this. It's as easy as that. Okay, last one. Children can receive monthly payment together with the surviving spouse. Indeed, up until the children are the age of 55.
Accepted.
Mr. Carolus?
Hello.
Very interesting tonight. I see from the moment you came in, there was like 4 or 5 people that suddenly wanted to ask you questions. And I did answer 1 or 2 of them, but there's 1 or 2 of them that I just, that drove me nuts.
Okay.
Anyways, long story short,
I'm still going to be live for a couple of minutes, maybe 30 to 45 minutes. So
you enjoy it. I have to go to Lou. That's a definite. And then I want to get some supper. But thank you very much. We have to see how we can do this on a more regular basis and figure out how it works with this thing, because I find it very interesting that you can chat on one side, I can chat on one side. We've got split screens. Very interesting. Anyways, long story short, I'm going to go now to everybody else that's on the call. Thank you very much, folks. Keep well, Rowen. I'll chat to you tomorrow morning.
Thank you for the lessons. Thank you. Good night. Take care.
Good gaan. Bye-bye. To the rest of you folks, thank you very much. Great evening as per usual. Have a wonderful week. I'll chat to you again next week, Thursday. All the best. Bye-bye.